Rebirth Island has returned to Warzone once again, so I want to dive in and give my thoughts and opinions on the new Warzone map. Enjoy. First things first, we have to talk about how the map looks. And for me personally, the map looks actually pretty good. They've kind of given the buildings this sort of like run-down look rather than sort of this new, fresh, clean look that we had in previous Rebirth Islands, which looks really good. I think the lighting on the map is also really good. And later in the season, you're going to be able to load into Rebirth Island, and there's going to be kind of 3 different kinds of lighting, which I don't know how it's going to impact it a little bit. The light we have now, I think, is pretty perfect. The sun glare might be a bit much here and there, but when we're sort of putting in like sort of dusk lighting or maybe sort of nighttime-ish lighting, I don't know how well that's going to work. Also, the map for the most part has been pretty much untouched from what we were used to. When sort of Call of Duty bring back old maps, they kind of have a habit of maybe putting like a big hole in the middle of it or destroying some part of it. So it's nice to have sort of Rebirth Island pretty much as it was. There is sort of like a new building to the side where Chem is, and that is a new building. Doesn't really impact the player floor that much. It's right on the edge of the map anyway, so kind of nice to have sort of a nice sort of what we're used to kind of map rather than sort of a redesigned Rebirth Island. There are a few things that I would like to see changed though. Bottom prison for some reason has no doors at all now, rather than having loads of doors. I think they've gone maybe too far one way with that, rather than maybe just reducing some of the doors. It's kind of hard to outplay people there, and the fact of the matter is it's very, very open space, especially with prison sort of long lines of sight. Also, they've tweaked some of the jump up spots in prison as well, and in other parts of the map where before you used to sort of be able to mantle up to an upper level. That doesn't exist in parts of prison anymore, and other parts of the map as well, so maybe sort of bring them back as well. Now, there hasn't been many changes to the map. There are going to be some changes coming mid-season where there's going to be sort of in-game events which destroy certain parts of the map, certain POIs. I think the tower right next to prison is one of them, so it'll be interesting to see how that plays out as well. So we'll sort of give like this new dynamic feel to the map, which I think we are very much needing. I'll talk about that very soon. Now, it's probably fair to say that Rebirth Island is up there with one of the most popular, if not the most popular Warzone maps that we had. It's definitely probably on par with Verdansk in terms of popularity and nostalgia effect. And because of that, a lot of people are now coming back to the map and playing it purely because of the nostalgia that we used to have in Warzone 1. And I think this is a bit of a problem because it's not innovative enough anymore. So, in Season 2, we got Fortune's Keep. And we got Resurgence Ranked, which was good. That's a new mode. It's refreshing. Fortune's Keep was drastically changed. I kind of didn't like the map in Warzone 1. I very much like the map in Warzone 3, I think we're on now. It's kind of a decent map now. Rebirth Island hasn't been changed that much, which one is a good thing. I'm not going to deny that. However, it's just the fact that they've hinged a full season on it is kind of boring. And I know they've added Ranked in to be Rebirth ranked, but again, it's not a ranked map. It was never made to be a ranked map. You can't just shoehorn a ranked mode onto the map. It doesn't play well enough for a ranked map. Prison is too much of a dominating POI to have this kind of as a ranked map, in my opinion. And yeah, it's kind of just a bit... It's a bit stale already, and I'm enjoying playing it, but I know for a fact in like a week or two's time, I'm going to be bored of it, and it's going to be like, what now? And that is an issue. Touching on the fact that it is nostalgic, and a lot of people are coming back to play it, it's very, 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 very sweaty. Every pub match feels like a ranked game anyway. And obviously, I know we've talked about like Call of Duty's SBMM loads, and I know it's an issue. However, with this dropping, it feels like an even bigger issue. The problem I think is with it is this. So you have obviously a lot of sort of top Call of Duty players and content creators who are very, very good at the game, who obviously, back in the days of Rebirth Island, could run around solo, fry in a lobby, and it was fine. And, you know, like, they were the best in the lobby, and that's fine. Fast forward to the modern day, the problem is that we've had a Warzone now for a year where there's been sort of no movement and no need to kind of push players, and that's really sort of hindered the player base, I think, to the point of where we now have this problem where, if you look on Twitter, a lot of people complain about this stacking aspect of it, where teams are just sat holding hands. And now I get it's a team mode, so that is fine. If that's how teams want to play, that is fine. However, the sweatiness of it is purely killing the vibe of this map for me. I think the problem is that back in sort of when Rebirth first dropped, we still had Verdansk, and then sort of Rebirth gained popularity because then they dropped Caldera, and no one really liked that. But still, Rebirth had a big enough player base where it's very, very sort of like casual to an extent. That casual player base for Warzone doesn't really exist anymore. Warzone has kind of killed itself since Caldera into Warzone 2, and then they're kind of reverting the changes now to the point where they are trying to save it, but Warzone's kind of just been its own worst enemy. And now we don't have a casual player base for Warzone anymore, and we have very much like a hardcore, this is our Battle Royale kind of player base. I would hate to be a new player trying to get into Warzone now. And Rebirth Island, in the modern sort of day, is becoming victim to that. Also, it's kind of a problem for me because I've always preferred big map to sort of Rebirth, Fortune's Keep sort of Resurgence maps, is that this is the second season in a row where Resurgence has been shown love, and the big map, once again, is just being left to lie still. They did it with Al-Mazrah, they hardly changed Al-Mazrah. Urzikstan has been the same since day one. They've changed some buy stations here and there, but that is about it. It's still, and it's meant to be a battle royale, and for the most part, I know like Resurgence is fun and it's meant to be, you know, quick pace and stuff like that, but all it is essentially is just glorified multiplayer in some sort of a battle royale setting. It's not a proper battle royale. Warzone is meant to be a battle royale, and I get Activision will chase where the money is and where the player base is, and obviously that is Resurgence, I get that, but I think it might be time to show the big map some love, and now to try and get players back over to the big map. I know they're trying to sort of improve the big map with sort of Gulag tokens and sort of redeploy tokens and make it cheaper to redeploy people and easier to redeploy people with flares, and I get they're trying to make it more Resurgence-esque, but I think it might be time now to show the big map some love. This is 2 seasons in a row now where you've hinged a bet on Resurgence, and it's all well and good, but you've given us nothing new really for 2 seasons now. You've given us 2 old maps back, which is fine, because they are very popular maps. However, be innovative, like do something with the big map. Give us big map ranked, like, I don't want to play Resurgence ranked anymore. Like, I think a lot of the player base were kind of like, yeah, Resurgence ranked really good, and then a week later it's a bit like, yeah, this is fun, but it's kind of not as, you know, maybe as fun or as challenging as big map ranked. So I want to see some love to the big map as well. However, I think doubling down with with Rebirth Island shows that Resurgence is the way that they're probably going to take Call of Duty going forward. So is it worth playing? Well, in my opinion, yes, it is worth playing. It has this brilliant nostalgic effect. It's very much true to the original, what we're used to with Rebirth Island. However, can it captivate me from an entire sort of Warzone season of, 8 weeks? Absolutely not. Yeah, they've shown a lot of love to multiplayer, they've shown a lot of love to Resurgence, but I don't think it's enough to captivate me or the vast majority of the player base for 8 weeks of a Warzone season. The meta hasn't really changed all that much either, which is a bit of an issue as well. No, I'm used to like sort of Warzone seasons of like days gone by where as soon as the season dropped, the meta was getting like a massive shake-up. Well, this time around, the HRM's been meta ever since it dropped in like, I think it was like halfway through Season 1 or something like that, and it's still meta now into Season 3, and it still very much is the best SMG, all bar a very broken Renetti right now, which will probably get fixed quite quickly due to how broken it actually is. So, it is worth playing, it does look good, it feels very sweaty though, and is it innovative enough? Probably not.